We know you like to hear about how it is for us, but really the only resonance is when you are acknowledging how it is for you. Wouldn't you say?
Hi. So 4 years ago, I was here and we talked, and I was shaking so hard I could barely speak. And I asked you about an experience that I'd had several years previous, out in Nevada, where I knew I had a purpose. And it hit me so hard I fell to my knees. And it was the most, I don't know, amazing moment of my entire life. And then I instantly lost it. And I feel like I made up a bunch of stuff that wasn't that purpose and replaced the real purpose with that. And some of the hardest years of my life followed. And you said to me, what had happened to me is that I expanded and I didn't go. So I took that very seriously. And I spent about 3 years now deeply focused on what it would take to go into whatever that moment was. And I'm now living the beginning of watching that come into fruition.
We don't want to upset you, but you're always going to be living the beginning of watching that come into fruition. Here it goes again, there it goes again, there it goes again, there it goes again. It's why you're eternal.
Okay. What seems to have made the biggest difference for me has been bridging everything I've learned from you with a body of teachings that primarily center on A Course in Miracles. And I'd very much like today to get a sense of how those two philosophies actually are interwoven. I'm sure they're the same because they both work so brilliantly. So my sense of what the Course in Miracles says is that this is not reality. And what we really are is this quite infinite being that somehow lost touch with our truth. And we did fall from grace, or what the Course in Miracles says is we believed we were separate from what created us and our own
Not
truth.
past tense, not as you believed you were separate, as you separate yourself in this moment with clogged pipes.
Okay.
Separation is either happening or it isn't. It depends on what disc you choose. No separation, separation. Feels great, doesn't feel great.
That makes sense. And it's simple.
Yeah.
And then the thing that the Course in Miracles continually emphasizes is that we need help. That there is a presence that's inside all of us, that perhaps is you.
And you see, our friend earlier is talking about this evolution, and we're talking about the never ending of it. And Course of Miracles is same energy coming from source, but explained a while ago. Mm-hmm. And so much more has been said since. And the basis of everything that it was at that time, and therefore still is accurate. You could even say that all that is before is the genesis of that which is happening now.
Okay.
And so when you find resonance with something, in other words, sometimes people will say about one of our recordings, but it would certainly be true of what you were talking about there. I'm certain, Abraham, that the first time I heard this CD, that wasn't on it, or the second or the third or the fourth. But a year later when I listened to it, it was on it. How did you sneak in and put it on it? And we say it is because of your vibrational vicinity, what you are realizing, you see.
Okay.
And so that's what that blending is all about.
Wonderful. So when this idea came to me, and I got literally just this fantastic experience of purpose, this word popped into my mind, re-evolution. And I bought reevolution.com, even though I was a medical student and it cost $7,000. I just knew, like, this was going to be my life. And the more I thought about that word, what it came to mean to me is something like, we have this past as human beings that has brought us to our now. And it's mostly been involuntary, like we've been subject to these forces that have shaped us, and we call that evolution. And we think of it as a biological process, but I'm beginning to see how it is this vibrational process. It's not this random alteration of DNA that Darwin talked about. It's this intentional pulling of source energy which causes this genetic change that's a better adaptation to environment, and then the manifestation follows, and that process keeps continuing.
But everything that is evolution is this same expansion. Because everything is consciousness. And so even if you're talking about a one-celled organism, it still experiences contrast, and it is still asking, and in its absence of resistance allowing itself to receive what it is asking for. There are fewer clogged pipes at those levels of creation that at this genius human level, you see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's evolution that you don't have to think about or worry about. It's fun to think about, but you don't have to consider it because it is flowing. It's this advanced evolution where you actually are a thinker who has the ability to block your own expansion. That's what this is all about, you see.
Okay, a thinker that can block his own expansion. that resonates and that makes sense. So when I think about this word, and I now want to pour my life into this purpose, and I see a book, Re-Evolution. I see a book coming. I see a website coming. I've got 2 of the members of my team are here with me today. What it feels like to me is us as a species making a conscious choice about the direction we want to evolve in and doing something that's never been done on this planet consciously before.
But you see,
or with
all of
focus.
these intentions were put into place. In other words, as you come as this body of diverse desirers, exploring with one another, the expansion is happening whether you are consciously aware of it or not. So you can't stop the re-evolution. It is never ending. You don't even have to understand it because the laws of the universe are going to cause it to continue. But if you're going to be joyful in your experience within it, then it is helpful to understand how you can line up with those natural forces. In other words, man does not need to be aware of this in order for the expansion to occur. The expansion cannot cease because law of attraction insists that it must continue. Just because of the diversity of concepts, just the juxtaposition of thoughts causes an eternal explosion of new ideas and therefore an expansion of all of that. So all of that was known by you by all of you when you set forth the intention to be here in these physical bodies. So where you come into it consciously, and that's why you're putting the word re on it, because the evolution, you can't stop it. You cannot stop expanding. But when you are deliberately realizing what your vibrational frequency is in any moment in time, so you are cognizant, you're consciously aware of the way the energies are moving in the direction of that which you've identified. For a while, people have been calling this the time of awakening, and we're calling it the time of reawakening, the time of realizing, consciously realizing your part in all of this.
So as you look at us sitting here and knowing probably on levels that we have trouble accessing how much we want to consciously realize this part, you've offered us many processes over the years.
And what do you think is at the heart of every process that we've offered? What do you think the intention of every single process has been? It's a singular intention, because we know that you've already done step 1 and we know that we've already done step 2. So every process is about helping you to get closer to the vibration that allows you the realization of your evolution.
So as we go forth, all of us here today, in this united purpose that you spoke about with the gentleman who was here previously, we're all in it together. Is there one simple thought, one simple focus, one practical, applicable process that will stick in our minds and will help cut through all of that disorientation and distraction and...
choose a disc that feels good.
And that really is the focus from here forward. That's the leading edge.
Choose a disc that feels good,
presence.
Period. Choose a disc that feels good. Do something about my point of attraction, which doesn't require it, but it sure helps. If I accept that I'm a vibrational being, and if I accept that things are always working out for me, and if I accept that the expansion of the universe is natural, and if I accept that my asking has caused me to specifically point myself in directions because my life has pointed me that way, if I accept that I had an intention set forth even before I came and that the emotions that I felt always kept me pointed in that right direction, if I accept that the way I feel is my guidance that lets me know that I'm allowing or disallowing in this moment resonance and reception with all of that or not, if I accept that I am a vibrational being first and foremost and that my emotions are my indicator of what I'm doing with that vibration, if I've accepted all of that, or even if I haven't accepted all of that, if I'm aware of all of that, or even if I'm not aware of all of that, whether I'm aware of all of that or not, there's still a vortex version of me, and it's still the expanded version. I still have vibrationally evolved in most cases to much more than I am allowing myself to experience. And my emotion is the key to how much of my evolution I am allowing in this moment. So if I put my undivided attention upon how I feel, and that's the only thing that I'm focusing upon, because everything else is going to take care of itself. The momentum of thoughts is going to carry me. If there's something I'm interested in, that momentum of that thought is going to get hold of me and take me off into something that is really, really satisfying. So if I put my undivided attention upon how I feel, then I'm choosing the frequency that allows all that I've become to flow into my realization now. And then what happens? Did I evolve more? No, I already had. Yeah. Did I expand more? No, I already had. So what happened? I feel good. I feel good. I'm resonant. I'm resonant with the love, with the fullness, with the wholeness, with the furthest most expansion that I am. And it is only in that fullness that you're ever going to be satisfied. Everything else is sort of looking for love in all the wrong places. Awesome. Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.